Heyo, what up everybody? It's your boy Matthew Maley from MatthewMaley.com coming at you with another poker recap video. As you guys probably saw from my Twitter, if you're following me up on there, had the first event of season 15 of the Arizona Poker Tour. As you guys know, I made the final table, the championship table for season 14, but was not able to do anything with it. Ended up taking an 8th place, which didn't get paid anything. So, was hoping to at least make the final table again for this season, and hopefully have a better showing than that. But, first off, I need to score some points. So, I was hoping for week 1 to have a pretty good turnout, and at least make the final table. I was hoping. I was also expecting that for week 1 there was going to be a pretty good turnout. Usually the first week everybody's there, and then it just kind of fades down from there. You know, as people have bad showings, they don't show up again. I also apologize, my voice is kind of messed up. I'm getting sick, I believe, so if you hear that, that's why. But so I really was thinking that it was going to be a pretty good turnout for week 1, so I was really excited to score some good points, but sadly, I was very mistaken. We ended up only having 17 people, which really sucked. It's good, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. It's good from the perspective of you have a much better likelihood of winning. You only got to get through 16 other people, but it also sucks from the other perspective of payouts are going to be way lower in terms of the tournament that day, as well as, you know, that money going towards the championship table. Plus, now, you know, you aren't going to have many points to score. So, if you make it to the final table and there's 30 people, you're going to make a lot more points if you make it to the final table and there's only 17. In fact, 13 more points. So, it sucked a little bit from that, but at the end of the day, it was just a rough day of poker regardless. So, I probably wouldn't have made it to the final table either way. So I wanted to go over a few of the bigger hands, and one really big hand specifically that cost me a good chunk of change, and just kind of go over everything and see what you guys think. So started off at the table. We were 8-handed, so a little bit short starting off, and my range was a little bit wide just because of the shortness of the table. Plus, most of the people at the table I've played with a decent amount now, and I feel decently comfortable with them. There's a few people that I think I know how they play pretty well. So I felt decently comfortable for the most part. Had a hand pretty early on where I had 9-8. Ended up flopping top pair, turned 2 pair, and then on the river it killed me. Ended up putting 4 to the straight out there, and I checked, guy bet, and it was a small enough bet where I felt like I could call him and, you know, a good enough percent of the time win it and, you know, justify it if he did have, I think it was a 7 in his hand that he needed. And so I called, and sure enough, he had the 7. So that was my boy John, so that kind of sucked. But then the very next hand, it was ironic, very next hand I picked up King Jack, and I was really just trying to steal with it. I opened, I think, like 3rd to act, raised 3.5 times the big blind. At this point, the blinds were 30-60. No, 15-30. I'm sorry. Yeah, 15-30. So I think I made it like 105 or something like that, and got 2 or 3 callers, and flop hit King Jack. Again, it was King Jack 10 if I'm not mistaken, and ended up was able to bet it all the way down, and on the on the turn a blank hit, but on the river the straight card came, and this time I bet out, and I'm like, it can't happen to me twice in a row, and the person ended up mucking. They actually had I think like a middle pair. I'm not mistaken, they had like a jack something, so I was able to take that pot down and build my stack up a decent amount. But for the most part, from the beginning, I was pretty rocky, and then ended up dropping a few big pots. One pot was, a couple of them were pots that I called pre-flop, but then when the action hit the flop, and I really wasn't in a position to call any action or make any moves. And that's just how it was. Honestly, there was nothing I could really do about it. hands that I'm going to call pre-flop, you know, ace 10, king queen suited, stuff like that from late position, you know, and on the button I'm going to call, but then none of them hit. A few of them I called raises, and then none of them hit. Then I had a really bad run. I would say probably about 4 or 5 rounds around the table where I played my blinds, and sometimes I didn't even get to play those. And I was just running horribly. Then when I actually would pick up a hand or two, oh God, I can't do anything, any chip tricks now with these damn fingers. But whenever I would pick up a hand or two, it would always be in the absolute wrong position. I would pick up a ace 5 suited under the gun. You know, come on. Unless I'm like super short-handed or playing a cash game, I'm not playing that. So there were a couple times that I did steal just to try to pay for my blinds. A couple times I got called on my steal but was able to continuation bet. But it just, it was what it was. I mean, it was very, very hit or miss. But the big hand, the hand that I really wanted to kind of go over, was a hand where I was big blind, I believe. No, I was small blind. Guy under the gun did a min raise, and I want to say at this point blinds were 2040. I think they were 2040. He made a raise to I think like 120 or so. 2 people called, came around to me. I called. Big blind folded, I believe. Flop came up, and I'm sorry, I had a 9-8 of hearts. Flop came up 8-7 deuce, if I'm not mistaken. 8-7 deuce rainbow. I check. Guy bets. The guy who raised initially. So standard continuation bet. And the person who was technically on the button to my small blind called as well. That I called with top pair. And I probably, well, here's where I could have raised at that point and really seen where I was at a little bit better, because I really felt like the guy who raised initially had an ace-king, and the guy who called on the button was just trying to float either a small pocket pair or 2 overcards. King Jack, Queen 10 suited, Ace 10, something along those lines. I honestly felt like I was ahead with my top pair. So turn card hits a Jack. And in my opinion, this doesn't really change much, because unless the guy had Ace Jack, I felt pretty solid with where I was. So again, I checked, and again the guy bet, and he bet the same amount. He bet 200 on the flop. So I was like, okay, you know, whatever. Both myself and the guy on the button that called his 200 bet. Turn card hit another 200. And this was a little weird to me that he wouldn't have increased his bet. But in the same sense, I felt like it was still a very standard play for ace-king, which is what I was putting him on, even ace-queen at this point. But I really was putting him on ace-king. I just had this feeling he had ace-king. By how he was playing it, by just everything about it, I felt like he had ace-king. So he again bets to 200, and the guy on the button calls, and I call. And again, it was a chance for me to see where I was at if I would have shoved a raise, but I didn't. So river card hits a 4, something like that. No, it could have been a 4 because it would have completed the straight. Maybe it was a 3 because there was no straight draw out there. It was either top pair, you know, for me, or he maybe had an overpair or whatever. But I really, really felt like he was sitting on ace-king. So I check again, and he shoves. And at this point, he shoved for about 700. Now, you got to figure there was 600 in the pot from the turn bet, 600 in the pot from the flop bet. So we're already at 1,200. Plus, there was another 120 in the pot from 4 people, so there's another 480. So we're at 1,680 in the pot. The guy who's on the button folds, and so I think about it for a little while. I think about it, and I'm trying to go through in my head what I thought he had, and I just kept coming back to ace-king. I really just felt this is the standard play. Standard raise under the gun justifies ace-king. Standard continuation bet when you bricked on the flop totally speaks ace-king. Turn card bet, trying to bet it out one more time, ace-king, And then finally on the river, pushing all in to really try and get me out of there, you know, with the threat of the all in specifically, when he technically could have just done a $400 bet or $600, you know, something like that. But he pushed for like $780, I think. So I thought about it, and I came to the fact that he had ace king. So I ended up calling. And mind you, I built my stack up a little bit. I had probably about, I would say probably like 1,700 or so at this point, after what I already put in the pot. No, probably like 1,500. So the other 700 was going to hurt me a little bit, but it was also before the rebuy, so I felt all right with it. Ended up calling him with my top pair on the flop. Ended up being second pair, and to my chagrin, God, he flipped over bullets. He had pocket aces, and I really didn't see that. I really didn't think he would have had an overpair just by how he was playing it. Personally, I just didn't get the vibe that he did. But when you think about it, the way he played his aces was technically the exact same way you would play ace king. So either one of those hands could have been there, or how he would have played kings or queens even. You know, nothing on that board threatened him, and his bets were still the same style and size that it very well could have just been semi-bluffing all the way with his two overcards. So it definitely, sorry, I'm all stopped up. It definitely was a tough hand for me and hurt, but I don't know, I felt good on my read. It just didn't pay off. So it is what it is. You know, there's not much you can do about it at this point. I'm down to probably like 700 chips after this point. So end up pushing all in a couple hands later. And remember, you get a rebuy in this tournament. You get one rebuy within the first 5 blind rounds. So we're kind of close to there. And I end up picking up, I believe it was, God, what did I have? I'm sorry, I really don't remember. It was I think it was a queen 10. I pushed with a queen 10. Somebody ended up catching something on me. It was nothing special, and I ended up losing. So I ended up having a rebuy. Don't even remember what the hand was. It was just to be quite honest. I could probably go back and read my Twitter feed, but it wasn't that consequential. It was, I found a spot. I had an ace. I had ace 3 suited, and I got called by like ace 9 or ace jack or something. The guy woke up on ace jack or ace 10, and I didn't hit my 3-outer. So it was really, I was first in. It was one of the blinds who ended up calling me. So as Dan Harrington said, I had first in vigorish, and at that point my M was pretty low. I mean, I had probably 400 chips left, 350, 400 chips left, and the blinds at this point were at least 20, 40, at least. So my M was like 8, So I was fine with my play. I found an ace and just got unlucky. Somebody woke up with a better one. But so I ended up rebuying, and very first hand of the rebuy, I was small blind, and picked up 8-3 offsuit. So turn card hits. Flop comes out. I want to say like a blank 3. No, it was blank, blank, blank. I don't even remember what they were. It was like Jack. I think it was Jack 4-7 maybe. It was pretty inconsequential. But the turn card hit a tray. Everybody checked on the flop. There were 4 people in the hand. Everybody checked on the flop. Turn card hit a tray, and the person the person under the gun ended up betting. The person in the big blind, I checked. She ended up betting 300 into the pot, and I don't know why. I had this feeling. I just had this read on her that she was just drawn to nothing, and really felt my tray was good. So I ended up calling her. And then on the river, she ended up betting another 300. And mind you, you only get 1,000 chips when you rebuy. So I'm essentially putting in, all my stack here. But I had this feeling, and I ended up calling her down, and she didn't even show. She just said, good call. And everybody was amazed by the fact that I made this hero call with, bottom pair against, her name's Kate. She's one of the better players there. And I don't know, I just had this read on her, and I've never had a read on her before like this. I just knew without a shadow of a doubt that I was going to win that hand. I just felt it. So I ended up taking that pot down, which actually built me up pretty damn well, to be quite honest. I want to say that one got me up above 2,000 or so, and I was sitting pretty well. I'd been hovering around the 1,500 chip mark before I went bust for a while, then built up a little bit, then went bust. So I got up about, I would say, above the 2,000 range, and then it was just a run of like 4 or 5 hands. I ended up calling somebody's all in. With pocket sevens. No, pocket sevens I didn't call her all in, but I raised pre-flop, got a call. Flop hit an ace. I bet at it, got called. Turn card hit, whatever. It wasn't a 7. So I checked, figured the guy had his ace. The guy bet, I folded. So that one hit me for a little bit. And then next thing I know, I'm down to, I would say probably like 800 chips or so. And, no, it hasn't even been even less than that. It was probably like 600 or 700. I pushed all in with King 10 suited. Got called by Ace Jack suited. Flopped a king ball, so that was nice. Doubled up there. Again, up against Kate, actually. And doubled up there, so that was a pretty, it got me up to like 1,200, 1,300. Maybe I had more. So I want to say that got me up to like 1,500. And then the very, 2 hands after that, I picked up pocket 8s and pushed again, because at this point the blinds were 75 to 150, and so even then I was, even if I was at 1,500, still not sitting that great. My M's 8, 7, so I picked up pocket 8s and I shoved with them, but I got called by somebody else who ended up pushing all in, with ace king. I had him covered, and he flopped an ace, turned an ace, and that was it. And then the very next hand, I had ace 9 suited under the gun, sitting on 500 chips. I had 575 left. So I actually, I think I had probably 1,600 or 1,700 when I pushed with the 8s. And really, I was just trying to take down the blinds. I was fine if I got called, but I didn't have enough chips to really just raise, decently, and then just play strong after the flop. I didn't really have enough chips for that. I figured it was better play just to ship it pre-flop. Sadly, I just, somebody woke up on ace king and the 50-50 hit, or the 52-48 hit. So I ended up picking up ace 9 under the gun. Very next hand after the 8s hit, and ended up pushing all in. It was 575 was all I had left, which I think that was as good of a play as I can make there. My M is 2, literally, and I really felt that was a solid play. I had a suited ace. What else are you looking for? It sucked that I had to be under the gun, so I still got first in vigorish, but it was under the gun, first in vigorish, and ended up getting called by ace queen and pocket 8s. So I'm, sitting there, maybe it was even ace king. I don't know. It was a better ace than I had. And 8s ended up holding up. They ended up flopping a set. So, of course, my 8s couldn't do that, but it is what it is. So I ended up getting knocked out in 11th place, actually. They went ahead and combined to the final table right after I got knocked out. But then, like I said, there was only 17 people. Maybe it was 18, I don't know. So getting 11th place really ain't much. I ended up getting 7 points, which sucks for, one of the weeks. If there's 30 people, somebody can get 7 points. For me to last till place 11, get 7 points kind of sucks. But it is what it is. Don't really think I played badly. I guess I could say I misplayed the aces hand. But at the end of the day, I don't even know so much as if I misplayed it or just kind of got... I can't even say I got cool decked. I mean, I went with my read, and, my read was good on a few other, circumstances. Just wasn't good on that one. And could I have gotten away from it? Yeah, I could have. But it also was, this guy had taken a pot from me earlier, and I admit it, I got a little clouded and wanted to play back at him and wanted to take him down, you know, and figured a flop top pair. I felt good. And at the end of the day, he definitely could have been playing ace-king the exact same way. So I didn't have a chance to talk to my boy Bill about it yet because he's always my poker coach that I go through everything with. So hopefully I'll have a chance this week and ask him how he would have played it and, you know, get some insight from him. So sadly, I didn't have a great run. But hopefully I'll have 4 great tournaments from here, and that'll be the one I drop, and I'll get 4 final tables from here on. So sadly, I'm not going to be able to win all 5 events like I was hoping. Hey, might as well shoot high, right? But we can still go 4 for 5. That's my goal. So that's my poker recap for event number 1 of season 15 of the Arizona Poker Tour. Thank you as always for checking out my videos. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that really I should have gotten away from the top pair with the 8s? What would you have put him on with how he's playing that? I mean, pre-flop, pretty much not min-raise, but 3 times raise. That's flop, kind of light. Well, not that light, but kind of light. 200 on the flop, 200 on the turn, 750 on the river. What do you think? I mean, I was laying better than 2 to 1 on my money, you know? I mean, it's tough. I mean, I only got to be right, you know. Yeah, it seemed like somewhat of a hero call, but at the end of the day, I don't have to be right that often to make that profitable, you know? So, it is what it is, but let me know what you guys think about that hand. That was really the defining hand. Everything else was just kind of, you know, icing on the cake, if you will. Both, but it wasn't necessarily good tasting icing sometimes. It was all after that, just peaks and valleys, but that was the crux of the tournament, definitely. That was the one hand. So let me know what you guys think. Should I have played it differently? And hey, I always like hearing back from everybody. So give me your input, all you poker players out there. What do you think? Of course, hindsight's 20/20 now. You know, I shouldn't even called my small blind small blind on that hand. But it is what it is. You know, I mean, you can always Monday morning quarterback. But if you were in that situation, big blind, would you have defended your blind with that hand and played it like that once you flop top pair? So let me know. Curious to hear. So, as always, thank you very much for checking out my videos. I am Matthew Maley for MatthewMaley.com. Like I said, really do appreciate all the support I've been getting from everybody. So, shout out to all my subscribers, all my viewers, all that. I really do appreciate it. So, if you want some more information about MatthewMaley.com, come check out the website, MatthewMaley.com. Or search on YouTube for Matthew Maley Poker, where you can get all my videos, subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment on the video, all that. So that's got all the videos just lined up right there. So you don't even have to click on video blog over on my website. Of course, you can follow your boy on Twitter, at Matthew Maley. Planning on tweeting a ton tomorrow, so hopefully you guys hop on and join me up on Twitter. Got some big football tomorrow with the Ravens and the 49ers, hopefully, so we'll see what happens. But so follow me up on there, and as always, like your boy's page up on Facebook. Search for Matthew Maley Poker, and there you go. So that's all the ways to get a hold of your boy. So until the next video, I'm officially signing off. Thank you as always for checking out my videos, and have a great rest of your weekend. Peace out, y'all.